because Saginaw is building a new fire station and they did not allocate space in their new facility to house the dispatch center any longer since they've gotten out of the contract. So there is some turmoil going on between Tarrant County and the other member cities of Alarm as far as determining a location. MedStar expressed an interest in taking over the fire alarm dispatch, but the county departments that from the unincorporated areas don't have the ability to contract and then contract again.
But Chief, when we went to a full-time fire department, this was discussed, and if I remember correctly, said, we'll say where we are for the time being, but we'll be looking at options go to Fort Worth in the future. So I think this would be the time for us to look at that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if the money's the same, why wouldn't we go there then? If that's what we're going to set up, you think?
So I engaged with Chief Davis, the Fort Worth Fire Chief, about 6 weeks ago, and he is absolutely supportive of us switching our dispatch over to them. But because they are so short in time, being with Lake Worth and Saginaw, his recommendation was to give him fiscal year 21 to get all the bugs in mutual aid dispatch worked out as far as any radio or equipment differences and things like that. And then once all of that's had an opportunity to do that, then we can give our notice next spring to Alarm that we don't intend to renew in October. I think it's 90 days notice that we have to give them. I may be wrong about that. I've read way too many contracts here lately.
Well, the fire alarm.
Is this tied in with the police department as well?
No.
No, sir. So when a fire or ambulance call comes in, the dispatcher in River Oaks transfers the 911 call to the Tarrant County Fire Alarm Center in Saginaw. It's an instantaneous transfer when they hit a button on the console.
Are this fire alarm, are they going to be stable for another year, or is a Saginaw new station going to be in place and they won't have a place for services for a year?
No, sir. The station's about 18 months out. I had a conversation with the fire chief last week, and we're in a good place for the rest of the year. If for some reason it were to fold, I don't anticipate that, but if it were to happen, Chief Davis has assured me that they would be happy to step in at a moment's notice and work something out with us to take care of it. Their service is a strictly per call service. They charge $30 for every call they dispatch, and when we do the math on our call volume, it is absolutely comparable. There'll be some startup costs that we're planning for within the next budget, but beyond that, we would be looking at a comparable fee structure for the service.
And it is a 30-day notice, Chief.
30-day notice.
And one other question for you, Chief. Should something happen along the way, and we have a time lag before we get with Fort Worth, is there any way we could do in-house for a temporary period of time?
If we had to for a short period of time, with there not being a need any longer, Mr. Mayor, to quote-unquote tone the fire department out on the old pagers, with the guys being right next door, they could absolutely get on the channel and verbalize over if there's a call. So, short answer is yes, in a pinch, we could do that for a short period of time.
So we'll be covered either way we go to.
Yes, sir. I've got all angles pretty well addressed. I think we're in good shape.
We did it for 50 years before that.
Right now, then, what I'm hearing, we have no choice but to go ahead and approve the contract with the Tarrant Fire Alarm before it's not ready for us.
That is my recommendations.
With that, I'll make that motion.
Did I get a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion second to approve the contract with Tarrant County Fire Alarm Center for the fire department dispatch services for fiscal year 2021. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, submission of the city's general and water fund operation budget for fiscal year 2021 as presented by the city manager and calling the public hearing for adopting the 2021 city operational budget.
Let me start off with saying that this is a different year because of the changes in Senate Bill 2 and whatever. And so involving, I'm wanting to propose this budget to you tonight. If we need, if council wants to look it over and we come back on the 18th, which is next Tuesday, a week from today, to iron out anything differential. I'd like to have the public hearing on the 25th, along with the tax public hearing that's already published, because I can't adopt the tax levy until 1 week after I adopt that, which will be on September 1. It's up to 7 days. I could do it sooner, but it has to be done within 7 days. So that would fit the time schedule that we have set. I've talked to Betsy, and we've gone over this pretty extensively, so I'm asking to do both public hearings along with the crime district and EDC, all of you, on the 25th. And then, like I say, adopt the tax levy on September 1. Won't go in effect till October 1, but we'll have everything done. And the budget that I'm presenting to you, I pointed out some changes that we made in it. It does include a part-time salary for the emergency management coordinator. It has never had one before, but we've never had all we've had in this last year before either. And in grooming for the future, I'm pretty well sure that someday that the city's going to have to go to an paid emergency management coordinator. This gets it started. You know, James won't be here forever, but we'd like him to be, but, you know, I'm looking to the future also, not with what's going on now. It also includes increasing the fire department to a four-man shift, and I'm going to have Chief Shelley expound on that a lot more. We've talked about it for a lot, but I'm going to have him expound on that. But before I get to him, I also wanted to say that it also includes a reduction, if the council's on board, to doing bulk pickup twice a month instead of every week like we're doing now. It will reduce some landfill costs. It will also reduce labor costs, wear and tear on garbage trucks. And with us getting 2 new garbage trucks this year, this budget also includes paying that this year, and also the reimbursement that we will get once we tear out the block and make it where it's undrivable. We can sell it for junk, but Mr. Smith will comment more on that. But that does include an ordinance that will help reduce the number of bulk pickups. It also includes setting our specifications for the oversized piles. We get some piles that are just huge. We don't have it where it addresses stumps, and that's just a revision in the ordinance that y'all would need to consider. But with all of that, taking all that into play, this budget is basically, I'm presenting to you tonight, it's in the black, but does not include a 2% increase for all those employees that weren't involved in the adjustment that took place, that are in the step plans this year. On the water side, it is also in the black, but it does not take into account a 2% increase for all those not considered in that. If that happens, you would have a general fund budget. If you were on board with the 2% increase, you would have a